Morning. This is an unscripted tutorial for DK64 Nintendo Switch Online any percent. Um, I will be making this specifically for beginners. Um, this is because I imagine lots of people are gaining access to the game now that either didn't have access to it before because they didn't have a Nintendo 64, or did not have a Wii U because, well, let's be real, we all know how badly that bombed. Anyways, the majority of the stuff that I say in this video will work for Wii U VC as well as Nintendo Switch Online. And I guess the only other important thing to note is that my movement is not going to look fantastic because I am used to the Nintendo 64 version. I never play the Wii U VC version, and I'm honestly not very fond of the Nintendo Switch Online version. However, I'm doing this anyways. So, with all that out of the way, let's talk about what you need in order to set up for a run of this. You're going to need, at minimum, one open file, right? It doesn't matter which one. Optimally, game 1 is open because you will be re-entering the file twice during the run. And having to scroll over to game 2 or game 3 will take a little bit of extra time, but let's be real, you probably don't care about that, because that's less than a second. However, thought I would mention it. The other things that you're going to need are, you need to get at least one battle crown in any file. It doesn't matter if you keep the file. Everything unlocks on the cart. I guess in this case on the Nintendo Switch Online Cloud. You know what I mean. You know what I mean. It unlocks game-wide. It's not tied to a file. But anyways, just get one battle crown. That'll unlock the Kong battle menu. You need to be able to unlock this to access Monkey Smash, because we will be using this in the run. Additionally, you will need a second controller hooked up here. I'm using a Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller as my main, and I just popped out the Joy-Cons so that I had those as a second controller here. The only thing you're going to need on the second controller is a button tied to start. That's it. Because they just need to be able to be like, yeah, I'm going to join Monkey Smash too. And then they do nothing else. So you really don't have to shoot too high here. Just any working start button will do. Now, what else do I need to tell you about? You need to unlock the mystery menu. To unlock the mystery menu, it costs one fairy, or rather, you have to collect one fairy in the game. However, that's not going to be enough. We need to get 2 fairies so that we can access DK Theater, and you'll have intro story by default. You always get it just for playing the game, even if you had story skip on. And you're going to actually need 6 fairies at minimum, because you need to be able to access Rambi Arena or On Guard Arena. You can unlock these by transforming into Rambi in Japes for Rambi Arena, or transforming into On Guard in Gloomy Galleon for On Guard Arena. If you don't have either of those, and you really don't want to use these, you could unlock 10 fairies and any boss that has a cutscene at the start, so any boss that isn't Mad Jack, basically, or isn't Factory Boss. They'll all work. But yeah, if you want bare minimum, just go into Japes, transform into Rambi, boom. And make sure you get 6 fairies. Okay, so I think that takes care of all of the pre-setup. So, let's talk about the actual run at this point. What you're going to do is when you get to the start screen here, go into options. We want to turn story skip on. I won't really lecture you too much about the camera option here. This will stay as whatever you want it as. Personally, I prefer free. I think the majority of the community at this point says that free is better, and we've kind of always come to that conclusion. But free cam has a lot more benefit on Nintendo 64 because you can use it to manipulate lag properly, whereas there's really isn't that much lag on Wii U VC or on NSO, outside of the scripted frame drops, which I'm trying not to scream about. But yeah, do what you want. I would highly suggest you go with free cam, but it is ultimately up to you. Screen size, I don't think really matters. But story skip, make sure it's on. So, we're going to go into the mystery menu here, and in DK Theater, we're going to hover over Intro Story. The timing begins when you press A on Intro Story here. Now, what we're going to do, I have a timer, you'll see on the left-hand side there, I just started it. I have that timer specifically in this instance, so I can show off when I hit A in Intro Story. So, I'm going to start the timer at the same time that I press A on Intro Story here, okay? And at 2.1, you press A again, and that'll kick you back out to here. You'll have no background music. That's how you know that you got Intro Story glitch to activate properly. If you press A too early, it won't activate. If you press A too late, it won't activate. So, I'm going to go back in here and just cancel it. Now, let's walk through this. So, I'm going to do that again, right? Let's get Intro Story glitch again here. So 2.1, press A, back out, and go into Adventure and enter the file that you're going to play the run on. This cutscene will play out every single time. Just let it happen. You're going to mash B here to close Squawks' text. Press Start, and then go to Quit Game. Mash A and Start here to clear that cutscene right away. And when you get to here, you're going to hold the A button. Continue holding the A button until I say to stop holding it, okay? Just keep holding it and mash Start. Just hold A, mash Start. We're still holding A, mash Start. Hold A, hold A, hold A. Now that you're here, you can stop holding A. Go into Adventure. Look at your file. We call this viewing the file or examining the file, where you just pull up your game stats, but you don't enter the file, okay? And then, go into Mystery Menu. You're going to go to Rambi Arena. Now, don't touch A. A cutscene plays at the start there. And when a cutscene plays while you have Intro Story active, it'll kick you back out to the Mystery Menu here. So you come back here, you press B, get out of the Mystery Menu, and then go to Kong Battle, okay? Go into Monkey Smash. This is important. Do not go into Battle Arena. Battle Arena is bad. Battle Arena sucks. It is horrible. Don't do it. Thank you. Go to Monkey Smash. When you're here, press Start on second player controller, and then press A on the first player controller. You'll get kicked right back out to the results screen here. That's what we're looking for. Press A, press B, go back to Mystery Menu. And then scroll back over to DK Theater Intro Story. What you're going to do here is just tap A to start it. When the screen fades fully black, hold A again, and that'll cancel Intro Story. So, after all that, you can go back to Adventure, your file's still there, enter your file. Now, what did all that do? This is what it did. You now have Simian Slam, and you now have the gun. And you have Sniper Scope, and homing ammo, and all the other things. Sorry, I caught myself barely. That's going to be very important, because you just gave Simian Slam to every Kong, and you just gave every gun to every Kong as well. That is going to become very handy during the run. So, now we basically continue as normal for a little bit, right? You go over to Cranky, which you always do at the start. That spawns the training barrels here. Go over to the training barrels, do the training barrels. There's really not that much to say here, but yeah. All you do, dive down, hold up left, or I guess up right if that's your thing, until you're at the bottom, get the coin. The fastest method of swimming is to just hold A, as far as you're concerned, for this run at least. There are instances where that is not the case, but I'm not going to get into that because then you start talking about tassing. And I don't think anybody is really interested in hearing about that in a beginner tutorial. Grab all the oranges. You go right up to the tree here because if you are right close to a tree or a wall, I mean the tree in this case acts as a wall, the oranges will instantly explode when you throw them. So it's a lot faster just to blow them all up. Hold B from the start here, and you just continue holding B throughout this entire barrel. Oh, hang on, hang on. There's something else that I want to show off here that I probably should have done, and I just remembered. Sorry, you don't have to throw the barrels like that. In this run in particular, because you have the gun, you can pull the gun out here, and you can shoot the barrels. And it is faster if you're good at shooting them. We call that gun barrel, and that was discovered by the 8-bit beast, who I believe is doing DK64 5Kong any percent, aka this run, at ASM this year. I mean, if you're listening to this after after this year, after 2026, then I don't know how true that'll be. But in 2026, that's what he's doing, I'm pretty sure. So anyways, vine barrel, very simple. You just go up, swing across the vines. Now, we're not going to... Okay, you could go down here, right? There is a switch down here that you can just slam with DK if you really want to. However, this is a kind of a long cutscene, and we don't want to watch that. So, if you want to slam that, by all means, go for it. I'm not going to stop you. You do have Simeon Slam from performing Funky Weapons Glitch earlier in the menu. However, we're going to do what's called Wet Escape. You jump into the water, dive, and look at this wall, okay? You can tap a little bit right. It's better to look more right than left here. And then you leave first person, do not touch the control stick, okay? Don't touch the control stick at all once you've set your angle. Leave first person and just hold A, and you'll swim through the wall. When you swim through, tap a little bit left, or a lot of it left, it's up to you really, and that'll get you to the loading zone. Okay, so we are now out here. Now that we are out in the DK Isles overworld, I'm just pulling up my route here. Speaking of, I will be linking this route in the description, assuming this gets posted. Can't imagine why it wouldn't get posted, but anyways. What we're going to do. Go straight down, tag warp 3. This is, well, I'll explain that in a moment. After tagging warp 3, you're going to swim over here to Kalumsey. Tag warp 1, and then enter Kalumsey. I'm just going to update that because I didn't have tag warp 1 written in my route. Okay. Just clear all the text here by mashing B through it. Even if you don't mash optimally, it doesn't really matter that much. Most of these text cutscenes have to play out for a certain number of frames anyways before they'll advance, or before they'll clear. So like, even if you lose, I don't know, like 5 frames, 10 frames in some cases, it just doesn't matter. So don't worry too much about your mashing. Now, from here, if you are not capable of doing this trick, don't worry, I will teach you something later in the run that accomplishes this. However, I do think you should give this a try, this is pretty valuable. What we're going to do is do a moon kick off of the grape switch here, and we are going to land up on this ramp. What this does is it allows us to skip the raising of the platform over there, which normally you would backflip on top of and then get on top of the ramp and roll up, blah, 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 right? However, what you're going to do is stand DK roughly in front of the center of this grape switch, okay? I like to hold Z and hold down on the control stick to pivot DK away from it. What you're going to do is hold A to jump and then mash B as you hold forward toward the switch. Now, again, I probably won't get this right away because I am not used to this version. But the entire idea here is that you use an aerial attack, and then you interrupt it with DK's kick. And that's what happens. When you get the kick, you want to hold kind of down left, and when you are anywhere near the ramp here, you jump out of your kick by holding A, like just tap and hold A, and then you can aerial as well if you need a little bit of extra time to navigate in the air. Once you're up here, we roll up. Now, again, if you cannot get the grape switch kick, it's really not that big of a deal. This is not, like, vitally important. I will teach you something later. I should show this off, actually. To do this pipe kick, you do basically the exact same thing you just did with the grape switch, okay? Exactly like that. Face DK away, full jump, mash B while holding forward toward the pipe. Just be careful that the zinger doesn't hit you out of your moon kick. Now, we came up here to tag warp 4. Make sure that you tag warp 4 here. And then we're going to kick off. Oh, that was a different camera flip. Okay. We are going to kick off and go to BFI. The camera flip is something that I'm definitely not used to seeing because on N64 there's a lot more lag from up there, so you go farther and then the camera doesn't attempt to flip on you because you're farther away from the ship. And I'm rambling, sorry. Once you're over here, you're going to stay a little bit away from the shore of BFI, as you can see there, right? There's a bit of distance between me and it. And you want to be on kind of the left side here of the entrance, right? The entrance is right there, sort of center of my screen. You want to be just looking a little left of it. Now, when you're a bit away from the shore, you're going to press Z. I say Z, but I took a moment there to think about saying Z. So Z or Z. And then you're going to mash B. You don't really have to mash, but just like repeatedly tap it at a decent rate. Okay, so tap, 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 tap. And then DK will swim through the shore. We call that, fittingly, swim through shores. And I'm sure everybody has seen that before because every single YouTuber that's trying to cash in on DK64 tips and tricks always includes BFI early. But if you haven't seen it, there you go. Once you're in here, you just go up the ramp, you talk to the fairy, this giant fairy queen, banana fairy queen, I think? Anyways, you talk to her and she says, "Oh, please help me, all my fairies escaped." And you say, "Yes, of course, my queen, I will help you." And she gives you access to the camera, which we won't be using. But you're supposed to use that to get the banana fairies. And she gives you access to the shockwave, which is the reason we come here. Now, on Nintendo 64, you would do something different than what I'm about to do. However, because this is NSO, we have to do the route differently. We're going to grab this crystal, and then we're going to go into the water and swim over here. The goal is to swim over to this ledge, and we're going to backflip, backflip, climb the tree. At the top here, we're going to charge Shockwave holding B, and on top of this pad, release to get the coin. Now, caves early, my favorite trick. It really isn't. I have a history with this trick. This trick is a lot different on NSO and Wii U VC. On Nintendo 64, you can just run up mash. That doesn't work on this, okay? What we're looking for here is you're going to tap A and try an aerial right before you touch the ground. You have to time it specifically on Wii U VC and NSO because of the lack of lag. The extra lag on Nintendo 64 makes this a lot easier there. So, I like to have the camera at the top of the hill and having DK run towards it. This means that I will be holding down on the control stick to make DK run towards the camera. And the camera pretty much stays like this, so you shouldn't really have to think about what you're doing with the control stick here. Yet. Sorry, yet. So, you're going to run towards the camera, tap A, mash B. And then you want to rub up against the rock and hold against the rock here, jump out of your moon kick, and hopefully DK grabs the ledge. You want him to grab the ledge and then move him over to the left side here and then pull up. DK just goes through a weak spot in the rock and then you can enter Cave's lobby like that. I'm going to do this one more time. Just because I think you'll be able to see a bunch of different things that can go wrong here. So like that one, I pressed B too early. That's B too early again, where you just get the aerial and then the slap. And of course, if you just get the kick, no aerial, then you're pressing B too late. So if you don't get this right away, don't get discouraged. This is very different than how it normally is on N64. No, I am not just saying that because I am performing this very poorly now, after getting it once. Rub up against the rock, and then jump out a moon kick, and DK should grab the ledge. Pull up in the corner, and enter Cave's lobby. That moon kick will take a lot of practice. As you can see, I didn't even get it very well either. Again, I'm not super used to NSO, but yeah, don't be discouraged. It'll happen. Oh, sorry, I was going to do this without explaining anything. That's my bad. When you come up here, B-Locker will interrupt you with his first-time text, being like, "Hey, I'm B-Locker. I'm meant to get in your way. Show me the bananas, furry fool," or something like that. I'm paraphrasing. Obviously, we don't have 65 bananas. We do have 0, though, which is close. So, we're going to just go around them, because we love the way hit detection was programmed in this game. So, when you get to about here, right, like, how do I describe this? It's like a corner right there, you see that? When you get to this line that lines up with that corner, what you want to do is kick, jump, aerial over to the right of B-Locker. From here, run into the invisible corner created by B-Locker's invisible hitbox and the wall here. And then you're going to hold Z and hold right on the control stick to make DK face away. Then you're going to jump. Do not touch the control stick until you're in the air, okay? You're going to jump, then tap left, and DK will move towards B-Locker. If you activate the text, you should be close enough. You don't have to activate the text, but if you do, you should be close enough. Now that you're in this position, just start pressing B to activate DK's ground attack, right? So he'll do that slap, slap, and then double slap. When he's in the middle of his slapping animation, you're going to just turn him towards the DK portal. And that's it. That's how you do B-Locker skips, in most cases, as DK. In caves, we didn't come here to do anything except unlock moves. So you're going to pause exit, exit level. And then you're going to jump down and exit Cave's lobby. Now, you won't be able to see DK here unless the camera flips like that. The goal is to go over that way, so if the camera, oh my god, if the camera is still out viewing the rock like this, it'll be over to your right, and if the camera flips to be behind DK here, it'll be over to your left. Okay? So, all you're going to do, get close to the edge, kick, jump, aerial, you should be able to make it to that corner. Now, because this is NSO, or Wii U VC, whichever you're playing, What I'm going to recommend is that you learn this boulder kick. It's essentially the same as the grape switch kick and the pipe kick that I showed off earlier, except this one should be easier. You're going to run roughly at this white spot on the rock, the lighter spot. It's not exactly white, but you get it. Right? Just roughly there. And then you're going to hold Z to crouch, turn DK away from the rock, and just like the other reverse moon kicks we've done, you're going to hold A or tap A and then mash B while holding up on the control stick. And your goal here is to land on top of Aztec Roof, because there is a coin right here. So we're going to charge Shockwave, slam the pad there, get the coin. Jump off, or run off rather, and tag Warp 2. This will come in handy later. Now, you can walk over here, you see this plant? We're going to crouch slide right off of here. If you do not crouch, you will take fall damage. So, you run, hold Z, and you just crouch slide off. You won't take any fall damage while in the crouch animation. You can use the beaver, or you can just grab the golden banana there. It doesn't really matter which you do. But you do need that golden banana, because we're about to enter Japes. Talk to B-Locker here, and we can pay him this time, because believe it or not, we have one golden banana, which really isn't that far off of 65 that he was asking for before. We're like almost there. Anyways, enter Japes. Clear the squawks text. This is going to be bush push. There's a couple different ways that you can do this. I'm going to show the way that I know first, because this is the original way that people, that I was taught how to do it. I guess I'll go back over here first. Okay. So you go over here, jump over, and on this side of the bush, facing the portal, you're going to just walk here until part of DK is consumed by the wall. The bush will push him partially into the wall, right? You hold Z, pivot to down right, and then you're going to go and roll the control stick from right to up left. And I just did a very poor job showing that. Oh my god. I don't know why I was having trouble with it there, but yeah, you're supposed to just go through the wall. Okay, maybe I think I know what I did wrong there. It's not right to up left, it's down right to up left. My bad. But yeah, you just go down right to up left, and DK should walk through. Anyways, if you don't like that, and it is okay to not like that, I understand. I did fail it twice after all, so I'm a little peeved about that. What you can do is you can face DK away from the bush, but stand, or like, jump onto the bush here, and then you just jump and hold forward. And again, I'm not good with this one, but oh my god. There. And then DK goes through the wall. I don't know if there's some better way to line this up. I think you want to be like a little bit more to the left than anything else. But yeah, DK will just go through the wall. If you hold up for too long after going through the wall like this though, you will void, so be careful of that. But yeah, once DK is through the wall, if the camera's giving you trouble, go into first person using C up, and then un-C up to leave, or just hit C up or C down or A or B to leave first person and put the camera behind you again here. We're going to go parallel to this wall, and at this corner, we're just going to continue going straight. It doesn't matter if you veer a little bit off course, just continue going straight. If you end up in the water, that's perfectly fine. So, you're going to... There's a vine over there that we're going to climb up. I would teach you the tree moon kick. Like, I can show it off, but I don't expect you to do this, okay? This is a tree moon kick. Again, I do not expect you to do this, but you would jump off and then so when you jump off, you hold down, and then you swap to holding up to go back towards the tree, and then you mash B. I think that that's a little bit difficult to expect of somebody that's brand new to this game's mechanics, but if you can do it, by all means go for it, and then kick over here to the cannon platform. However, I'm going to behave as if you do not know how to do that. So, you land in the water, we're going to swim over here to that vine that I talked about earlier. You're going to climb the vine and just take it up. You swing across these vines, and you enter the cannon to get the GB in front of Diddy's cage. This will spawn the switches because we are here to free Diddy. So these switches spawn. We're going to turn away from the cage, put the camera behind us. At this corner, kick off, jump, aerial, get on top of the tree. Okay? Turn down left, and by zooming in with the sniper scope, it'll spawn this switch. Shoot a couple bullets at it, and then kick towards the river. DK should land in the river while the cutscene plays. That's what we want. You want to be roughly in line with the tag barrel here when you get out of the water. Pull out your gun, and again, zoom in. This switch is weird. Do not shoot it dead in the center. You will not activate it. I don't know why. You just won't. Realistically, they expect you to shoot it from either there or from there. So they probably made sure that the sides of it work, whereas they don't expect you to ever be able to shoot the front, since you can't shoot the front of it without sniper scope. And sniper scope is in the final level of the game, so I think that's a pretty reasonable assumption. But anyways, shoot it like on one of the sides, and it should activate the switch perfectly fine. And then turn to the left, and again, with sniper scope, you can use C right to zoom in, and you load the final switch. This one you can shoot basically wherever and it'll work. So you shoot that, the switch activates, and Diddy is free. And that is now everything that we needed to do in Japes. So you're going to pause, exit level. And now, because I'm a little low on health, I'm going to go and heal up by entering the tag barrel. You do not need to enter that tag barrel if you have full health. But I did not, so I decided to. We're going to go over to the right here and enter the water. Do not kill that beaver. This beaver is super important. Do not kill him. We need him. We need him alive. When you're in the water here, can you see DK's shadow there? Is there a way for me to capture my cursor or something? I don't know if there is. No, there isn't. So you're just gonna have to trust me here. How do I... Right there. You see this line? I'm lining it up with the center of the camera reticle, right? That line on the ground there. You want to put DK's shadow roughly there, okay? I know it's hard to see, but like you can kind of see DK's shadow beneath the water's surface there. Look for that. Anyways, you see the beavers over there? He'll kind of go between... The beaver will kind of go between there and there. We want to aim for roughly the center, where it looks like the orange and the green kind of become a yellowy sort of color. That's where we're aiming for, somewhere around here. You could go a bit more to the left, it kind of doesn't matter, just try and work with wherever the beaver is, okay? Anyways, we're going to do another version of Swim Through Shores, except this one's going to be a little bit more difficult. However, this is about the only good way that you'll be able to enter Aztec. So, we're going to dive, and then hold down on the control stick, and that'll make DK look like this. You're going to let go of Z, and then tap A and press C up, or like mash C up to get into first person, okay? While still holding down. So, hold down, Tap A, mash C up. Now DK will be on the surface of the water here. You can tell because the camera is above the water. Go figure. Now that beaver, we want to aim for him. Do not leave first person yet. Look for the beaver, and as soon as you leave first person, mash Z or Z, and then once you dive, mash B. Really, it's going to be like mash Z and mash B at the same time because we need to do swim through shores. And the longer that you take before you dive, the more of your skew angle that you'll end up losing. But anyways, here we go. Leave first person with A, B, C up or C down, mash Z, mash B. And it should be something like this. DK should look a little strange like this. That's what we want. Now, hopefully this beaver behaves. It might not. It did not. What we are looking for is the beaver to interrupt us by attacking us while we're doing that swim. It doesn't always work out that way, unfortunately, because RNG, but, you know, that's how it is. So the beaver's over there. Let's aim... Oh, he's in the center. Okay, sure. Let's aim a little bit more towards the beaver. Leave first person. That was too bad. That was way too late. It has to be, like, almost instantaneous that you go and dive here. It's very particular, because you need a good skew angle to enter Aztec. So, mash B, mash Z, mash B. This is better. Now, will the beaver hit us this time? Come on, beaver. Yeah, this looks good. There we go. So the beaver will hit you, and you should come out of the water state looking like this. This will be a little weird if you haven't seen DK64 before. This is called skew. If you jump while you have this, you will lose it. Do not jump. It's very important that you do not jump. There are certain actions that you can take, and then jump out of those actions, and you will not lose this. But that's not important to this run, so as far as you're concerned, if you are listening to this, do not jump. Now that we have skew, we're going to continue going over to the right. You can roll with ZB and you'll be fine. Tag warp 3 and take warp 3 to go back to the warp ring here. This is why we tagged warp 3 early on. And then take warp 2. This is why we tagged warp 2 early on. And enter Aztec. Now, some of you might end up having a skew that isn't good enough to get through the door. And you'll be like, what the heck? What's going on? You lied to me, streamer. I'm not streaming, by the way, so this is more of a recording, but I don't want to call me a recorder. Look, I'm sorry. You get what I'm saying. You can roll, and that'll get you through the door. Or if rolling doesn't get through the door, you can go back down by taking warp 2 and backflipping into the barrel. It has to be a backflip, okay? It has to be get under the tag barrel, crouch with Z, and press A. A backflip will not lose skew, but you can do that to tag Diddy, and then you take warp 2 back up as Diddy, and Diddy is a little better at going through this wall than DK is. However, if your skew is good enough, you'll be able to roll through the wall. So, get off the warp 2 pad, hold forward, crouch with Z, and roll with B. And DK should be able to just go straight through the door. Again, if DK can't get it, try with Diddy. Diddy might be able to. But you have to do the beaver skew specifically as DK. Diddy is not big enough to be able to do the beaver skew. Anyways, this is another B-locker skip. We go into the corner again, turn DK away, jump backwards, and then attack and turn towards the DK portal, and that'll get us into Aztec. In Aztec, we have a couple more Kongs to go and save. First, we're going to save Lanky, and then we're going to save Tiny. Swing across those vines. Swing across these vines. If you are low on health, like you're gonna be missing 1 from taking damage on the beaver. Um, if you're missing any health, just feel free to go ahead and kill an enemy and grab the watermelon that they drop. It could potentially save your life. I know that sounds ridiculous, but trust me on that. You have to watch this cutscene, so just wait it out. Now, you'll probably see this patch right there, and you'll be like, oh, I want to go and get that now. We don't have enough crystals right now to do that. If you pick up 3 crystals in the beginning, you can. But otherwise, you won't have enough. So, I'm going to teach you guitar skip, and if you do not do guitar skip, I will teach you the alternative as well. So make sure you tag that warp 1. I think I just tagged it without saying anything, but that warp 1 tag is really important. You have to tag that warp 1. And then we're going to go over here to the side of Tiny Temple. In this back corner, you're going to put DK in the corner here, facing forward, and you're going to backflip. The goal is to get DK to move just slightly to the left there. I don't know if you saw that. If you didn't, back up the video, because this will be on YouTube, so just like back up the video there, and notice that when DK landed from that last backflip, he slid slightly to the left. The moment you see that, it means DK is out of bounds properly. Now, I'm going to do this again. There's really not a whole lot to say to this, just backflip and slowly tap up. You want to move very slowly because this is a rather particular trick. But the moment you see DK slide left, you know that you can walk through the wall. One more time, for good measure. See that? That slide to the left? That's always going to be your visual cue for you did it. You want to walk DK around the corner just so that he can face back the way you came in, and you're going to follow this wall. Don't go too far out, and don't go too close to the wall either. Just basically follow the wall until you get to about where the door is, and then you're fine. Go down here. This is Snake Road, or at least we call it Snake Road, because it's winding. And at this tag barrel, you're going to tag Diddy. Squawks will always give you, text the first time you tag a Kong, as long as you are in a map and an area where Squawks can appear. Enter Cranky with Diddy, and Cranky will give you Simian Slam. You might be wondering, didn't I show off that we had Simian Slam already? And yes, you would be correct. However, just because we got Simian Slam through other means does not mean that the game actually realizes we have it, right? It's part of Cranky's progression to give you that Simian Slam potion, even if you already have Simian Slam or better through other means. But anyways, you get Simian Slam, he kicks you out. You go back in, you buy Chimpy Charge and Rocket Barrel Boost. You will want both. And then you won't be able to afford the last thing. After that, tag to DK. And you're just going to go back over Snake Road here. I like to kick jump aerial to get across it. I find that that does the best for me. You might be different. If just jump aerial works better for you, then by all means do what works best. You'll only know what works best for you by playing the game, so do not just blindly trust what I have to say. We're going to go up here to Llama Temple and go around the back. Now, at the back here, you want to go on this lower lip. Our goal is to take damage on the quicksand, and it will knock us sort of back up here. You jump back into the quicksand, and then you roll into this slope, and you should roll through the slope. So, let's see it. Jump, and then turn around, roll. That was too slow. Like that. This is a pretty easy trick. The only reason you might not get it is rolling too close to the slope, like starting your roll too close to the slope, or taking too long and then DK takes more damage from the quicksand. You do only have the limited amount of time during the invincibility frames that DK gets from the initial hit of the quicksand, so be quick enough to get the roll. It's really not too particular, you'll get a feel for it. Once you're under here, you're going to notice that the camera behaves really weirdly. Just kind of walk through as far as you reasonably can, but don't go super far. How else can I describe that? You'll roll through, and then, like, you can do a kick. Yeah, about a kick's distance is fine. That should bring the camera to out of bounds with you underneath the llama temple here. And we are going to backflip and try and get into this hallway. Just make sure you don't go out the front door. You just want to land in the hallway. That's it. Right here, because we've taken damage, drop down, hit the watermelon crate, and go back to full. Okay? Now, I will use rewind here, not because I want to, or because I am bad. I might be bad, I don't know. But I'm going to use rewind here to show you a couple different scenarios. So, first of all, we're going to jump into the lava water. It will damage you basically every time that you are available for damage while in it. Our goal is to swim through this wall. Anything on this wall with this dinosaur head thing and that gate. You can swim through anywhere on that wall. We just need to reach Lanky through there. Okay? What else do I need to say? When I was learning this originally, I remember thinking you could only swim through the gate. That is not true. Anywhere on the wall works. So anyways, let's go down here. Swim down. I'm going to go to the gate just to show this off. And swim through the gate. You can't take too long because if you do, oh no, DK dies from water. Or lava, or whatever you want to call it. So, there's the rewind that I said I was going to use. The other option is you go here and you just try and swim through near the top. Okay, cool. You're out of bounds. Where out of bounds? And then you have to look for the room, line up with it, and just swim into it. If you have high water, you'll be able to just swim in. If you don't have high water, then I will show that off too. So, out of bounds. Oh, cool, it's Lanky Room. I'm gonna jump into it. Ah! I missed. Now what? Well, now you're kinda boned. You can't jump up there. You can, if you have enough health, what you can do is walk underneath the water here, and you'll go back into the swimming state. So, like this. And then swim back out of bounds to avoid taking any more damage. And now the camera's going to be a little awkward, but just kind of swim close enough. Is there? Oh, okay, yeah, there we go. Just swim like right here, and if you get the camera parallel to the wall, you'll be able to see the edge of the floor, and you'll be able to see DK. And in this case, you just jump aerial, and you can land in bounds, and that's fine. Now, do I have enough? Oh yeah, I can definitely go back, can't I? Yeah, okay. How far back can I go? Well, I guess this'll work. So, our goal here, assuming you swim in however you choose to swim in. You pull out your gun and you shoot the switch. However, we can combine this with a death warp. You see that I'm at 3 health right now? If you have 1 health, that's perfect. I'm going to take damage in the lava water to get down to 1 health, and I'm going to stand on this crystal. We do need to grab 1 crystal bare minimum here. So this one is perfectly fine. On this spot, aim towards the switch, and then leave first person, do not touch the control stick. you're going to shoot a bullet, or shoot a couple bullets, and then just walk into the water. Don't jump, just walk. Just like that. And that you'll see that the cage for Lanky is opening while DK dies, and that puts you back at the start of Aztec. That's the goal. Swing back across those vines, and take Warp 1 that you tagged earlier. Now, that crystal that we got, it's for this rainbow coin. Slam the pad there, grab the rainbow coin, tag Diddy. Okay, so, you saw that we bought Diddy's moves earlier, that's great. You can just cartwheel up that slope, by the way. But we don't have Diddy's gun. Or do we? Because we did Funky Weapons Glitch at the beginning, we have guns with every Kong. I'm going to say that again. Probably twice more. But anyways, you pull out the gun, shoot that, and then you can enter Tiny Temple. You'll always have to watch this cutscene. And now that we're here, there's a couple of different ways we can get out of bounds. The entire goal is to get out of bounds, get over to Tiny, and free her. We don't need the golden banana, and we don't need to do anything else here, just free her. So, I'll teach you my preferred method here first. However, this is kind of luck-based, so if you don't like this, I'm not going to take any offense to it. You just line up on the corner and chimpy charge at that slope. That's it. So you walk to the edge here, where this dark line meets the corner, look at the slope, chimpy charge, and that's it. Sometimes it'll get you through, sometimes it won't. If it doesn't, I'm sorry. If it does get you through, I'm also sorry, but in a different way, because that means that you'll only ever probably do that, and you will eventually get frustrated by it. Anyways, the other option, right, you start here, you walk to the edge, you pivot Diddy to the left here, and then you put the camera behind you. What we're going to do is called a ledge clip. So this ledge right here, we're going to walk towards this ledge, anywhere on this ledge, okay? And we're going to use first person to slow our movement to a halt as we walk towards it. With good timing, right, like just move as little as possible, and then with good timing, Diddy will land out of bounds. Like on the inside of that wall, if that makes any sense. And then you can just walk under here and go straight back. Or like back left. You'll see the sparkles eventually for the GB, and it'll take you to Tiny's room. Those are the two better methods to get here, right? And like, regardless of what you choose, you will end up here. While here, you could charge that, but you don't, like that switch, you could charge it, you don't have to. What you can do instead is try and line up so that Diddy is just to the right of the O block here. You're going to backflip, and then at the peak of your backflip, you hold left on the control stick. You do not touch the control stick at all during the backflip until you reach the peak, and then Diddy should snap to the top of the O. On here, you want to line up so that Diddy is just off of parallel with the edge of the O. Right, so like 10 degrees or something like that, 10, 20 degrees. And then you chimpy charge, and Diddy's butt will hit the switch. You might be wondering, why on earth would you hit O? That's not how you spell Kong. You need to spell Kong. But because we didn't hit the original switch, which is supposed to activate this puzzle, we can hit any wrong letter. So not K. You can hit O, you can hit N or G, and that will actually activate the puzzle instead. And then from there, you spell Kong the normal way. This is pretty irrelevant, but early on, it used to be G-Kong that you would do. So you'd hit G and then spell Kong. But people have started doing O-Kong instead. You could do N-Kong if you wanted to be super cool. Right here, do not skip the text, do not speed it up. When Tiny says right, the word right, in that third line, you can go into the suspend menu and just hit reset game. The moment she says right, the game will have automatically saved. Why did I say it like that? Automatically saved, and you'll be able to just reset, and Tiny will save properly to the tag barrel. From here, we're going to just mash the start button, get back into the game here, except not fully. And at the main menu, you're going to go into options, turn on story skip, and then you will re-enter your file. That warp 4 that you tagged earlier, if you tagged it, you can take it now. Oh shoot, I just realized I didn't talk about the other option. If you can't do guitar skip in Aztec, what you can do is grab one Diddy coin around the Warp 2 outside of Tiny Temple and buy his guitar, and then go and open the stone door. I really don't advise that, and instead you should learn guitar skip. But if you don't want to do guitar skip, that is your other option. I'm sorry for skipping that earlier. I had it on my mind, and then I just completely blanked. Anyways, if you tagged Warp 4 earlier, you take it up right here. If you did not tag Warp 4 earlier, this is the other trick that you can use to get up there. You tag Diddy, and this is an older method. I don't like this method as much, but maybe you will. You can stand on here with Diddy, and what you're going to do is Diddy performs a double jump when you tap A twice. You can interrupt this with a grounded attack by using the grounded attack on the frame that Diddy performs the double jump. Now, I'm not great at this area because I'm not used to it on NSO. But yeah, you can do this, and then you have to jump out of the double jump, which you can only do because you get the grounded attack, and then you grab the ledge, and you pull up. It's not ideal, but you can do it. This, again, used to be the old method. I'll just do it once more. If I can. The timing on this is very different from what I'm used to, but yeah. That's your other option if you don't want to do the moon kick. Again, highly recommend you do the moon kick. But anyways, that is possible. So I'm just going to go back over here and take Warp 4 up since I did tag it earlier. You can climb the steps here, and this door doesn't matter. You can just walk through this door for whatever reason. They never put collision on it. This is going to be the worst part of this. Now, I haven't been teaching you about phase walks because I don't think that beginners should be told, learn phase walks right away. I think that that is awful. I am the person that discovered phase walks, and I am telling you it is atrocious. Don't do it right away. However, if you want to ignore my advice because you don't care about what I have to say, I understand, and I respect your decision. But also don't do it. Anyways, if you do learn phase walks, you can just phase walk out through the wall here, go around, and enter factory that way. If you don't learn the phase walk, though, you will have to put up with this garbage trick. And this is awful. Genuinely awful. What you're going to do is try and line up, like, kind of to the right of the 5 on B-Locker, just anywhere on his right side. I guess it would be his left side, but, you know. Thank you, Singer. And you're just going to long jump at him, and then when you land, you mash your grounded attack. And sometimes you get in, and sometimes you don't. I really wish that there was a better way to get into factory than this on VC or NSO, but there just kind of isn't without phase walking. And I, again, do not wish to be teaching people how to phase walk when they're looking at a beginner tutorial. You will be destroying your controller, you will be hurting your hands. It really is not worth it, in my opinion. So, this might take a while. I might just edit this part out of the video if it takes super long. If it doesn't take super long, then, well, you'll probably also know. But yeah, this just really sucks. On Nintendo 64, you can throw oranges, and that'll get Lanky a little bit closer into B-Locker's hitbox, and then Lanky can access the portal easier sometimes. But on VC, it's just kind of not like that. There's no lag, or sorry, VC or NSO. There's no to very little lag, and because of that, you just can't get close enough. So instead, you kind of rely on this, where it's like, well, Lanky might get close enough because B-Locker's hitbox might just, like, temporarily fail, or because Lanky will hit a weird area of B-Locker where, like, you see that oscillating part where he goes a little bit back and forth? I don't know if I can get it. Yeah, if I get it again, I'll let you know. But, like, yeah, it's just, there we go. Occasionally, you can get in like that. That is the worst part of running on NSO. I promise you that. So if you want to learn phase walks to skip that, by all means. I still don't recommend it, but by all means you can. Once you're past that, let's do factory. You have to watch the Chunky help me cutscene. We will be helping Chunky. Put the camera behind you, and this is another trick. This is going to be robot push. You don't have to do this, but it is technically faster. You lure the robot into the corner here, and then with the robot in the corner, you can just use it to shove Lanky out of bounds. So, thank you, robot. Really appreciate you. What you're going to do here is there even a good way to show this? I guess it's like, go to the right of these tag barrel stars. Oh, the other bottom one is there too. That's perfect. Then in that case, let's go towards the bottom one. Now, the bottom one will fade from view, Lanky will come into view, and then you'll see this. You kind of want to go near that. If you go too far to the right here, you will darkroom. We really don't want to darkroom. Darkroom is bad. Darkroom will mean that you have to pause exit and start again from the start of factory. So, we're going to go just right to this thing, this whole fall down chamber, whatever you want to call it. Oh my god, and then I darkroom anyway. Okay, you can tell that I am not good without a notched controller. Yeah, so what happened there was I thought I was going towards the right thing, but because my controller doesn't have notches, I'm using the Switch 2 Pro controller, I ended up going slightly to the right, and it was far enough right that I ended up over in here. If you end up in there, there is no way out for Lanky unless you phase walk out, in which case you would pause exit, go back to the start of factory. Now, I will just show one other thing here. The only other way to get down there, without phase walks, right? Because, again, you could phase walk through that wall. I'll show it. I won't actually show the phase walk, but, like, this wall, you can phase walk through this wall right here, if you learn that. If you don't learn that, then you have to slam this switch, and that'll open the hatch over here. And then you can just walk down normally. which is slower, but like if you aren't getting robot push and you're getting frustrated, or if you just don't want to go for robot push, I don't think there's anything really wrong with slamming the switch and just taking the normal walk. But anyways, go down here, you backflip up, and we don't have a rang stand on Lanky, so we're going to have to slope climb without a rang stand. You're going to backflip and hold up left. Every time Lanky starts slipping backwards, you jump, and Lanky will slowly climb the pipe here. At the top, you just slam the switch, and that'll free Chunky. From here, we're going to go and climb up to where the Candy and Cranky area is. Go into this corner on of the boxes here. You backflip up left, and then backflip up right, and then jump, and then backflip again. That's it. That's not like super important, but if you want to optimize that, that's what we normally do. Go to Candies first, because Lanky only has to buy Trombone here. That's his only required item in order to beat the game. So we're going to buy only the Trombone from Candy, nothing else. Decline the second purchase. And then you're going to enter the tag barrel and go to Chunky next. It is extremely important that you go Chunky after Lanky. If you do not go Chunky after Lanky, you will run into coin problems. You go to Cranky with Chunky and buy everything that you can. This will be Hunky Chunky, followed by Primate Punch, followed by Super Simian Slam. Now, Hunky Chunky and Primate Punch are both required for Chunky. Super Simian Slam is not required, though, anywhere in the K. Rool fight. And you're probably thinking, like, well, isn't the switch blue in Chunky phase, right? Like, it's a Chunky switch with blue, so it should be Super Simian Slam. But the game doesn't actually check that. It just checks for Simian Slam. So any level of Simian Slam can hit that switch. After Chunky, you tag Tiny, and you go into Cranky. But the reason that we take Chunky into Cranky first, and we buy all of the stuff he can, including Super Simian Slam, is so that Tiny can buy all of her moves. Mini Monkey is required. Ponytail Twirl is not hard required. Like, you do want it for Mad Jack. And you do want it for Helm early. But you don't need it necessarily. Monkey Port, again, not hard required, but it does get you up to Helm a lot easier. So we're going to buy that as well. If you don't buy Super Simian Slam with Chunky, then Tiny ends up buying it after Ponytail Twirl, and she won't have enough for Monkey Port. That's the biggest problem. In that case, if you run out of coins with Tiny, you need to go down here with Chunky after buying Primate Punch, punch this open, and get that Rainbow Coin Dirt Patch. That's the only other way, or I guess you could take Tiny over here and get these 5 coins with Tiny around the Kasplat. You could do either or. But anyways, oh, get off there. I'll just go back up here for a moment. So, assuming that you do everything right, you get all of Tiny's moves from Cranky, you go to leave the tunnel here, and just go over to the left, go to Troffenskoff, because we need Key 3. Now, you're going to have to ledge clip twice here. So even if you skip the ledge clip in Tiny Temple as Diddy, you will have to do it here. Technically you don't have to do it the first time. If you really don't like ledge clips or like you're not good at them, you could tag DK and do a moon kick here to get out of bounds by going through that wall. It has to be that slanted part of the wall. And then while out of bounds, you hit the boss trigger there. That is possible. But it is faster to not tag DK if at all possible. However, if you really are not good at ledge clips, tag DK. Otherwise, you're going to take Tiny over to the left stair here, and you're going to move her just slightly and buffer that movement with C up until hopefully she falls out of bounds on the stair. Like this. Once you're out of bounds, you can just hold upright, and when you're behind the door, you should be able to enter the boss. Now, okay, as one of 2 bosses that are mandatory for this run, I will go and explain this. The important things to know, first of all, is that Mad Jack will do the same amount of jumps, depending on what phase number you're on. So, in first phase here, phase 1, Mad Jack does 9 jumps. In phase 2, Mad Jack does 11 jumps. In phase 3, Mad Jack does 12 jumps. In phase 4, Mad Jack does 13 jumps. And in phase 5, Mad Jack does 15 jumps. Okay? So, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now, assuming you don't fall, he's always going to be on blue, white, white, blue, white. So, we're going to look for blue here. It's back here. Another important thing, he always throws from his right hand. I wonder if I can show that. Watch. He always throws from his right hand. So, if you get really good at figuring out where he is, you can move in a way that Tiny will not get smacked by a curving fireball, because they do slightly curve following the release from his right hand. Okay. He's on white this time, like I said. That was 11 jumps. Sorry for not counting there. You see the white switch back there? We're going to go towards that. He throws from right hand. So, we can just go over here. If he threw from left hand there, we would be moving into the path of the fireball as it would be curving towards us. I'm not really sure if that helps at all. It makes sense to me, but it's kind of hard to explain. He's on white again. The switch is over here. He's going to throw from right hand. So just dodge that. Once the fireball has passed you, then go for the switch slam. Don't try to get greedy and go for the switch slam before it. In the first couple phases, or in the first phase 1, 2, and 3, he'll just continue to go around in a square, and like he won't double back on his pathing. In phase 4 and 5, he will double back on his pathing. So what we're going to do is we're going to move in a Z pattern here. I'll try and get him on screen a bit, right? So he's there, now he's down left, now he's up left, he's up right, so I'm going to go across, he's back there, go across here, and then go to the left as he goes to the right. I don't know if that's... I don't know how to really explain it. It is a Z path. I'll take the fall here. Actually, I can just rewind, can't I? Okay, so he'll go there, he'll go across, he'll go back, he'll go across, and then he'll go to me. Again, I'm really not sure if that helps at all, but yeah. I guess the one thing that I didn't really describe here, maybe I should just restart Mad Jack, is that he has a preferred path that he follows. It's always either left or right or up and down, and it will not change throughout the entirety of the fight. It will, however, change if you fall, right? So if you fall down in Mad Jack, then it'll change. So obviously try not to fall. I don't think you're trying to anyways, but... Come on. So I'll go back in and I'll try and explain that a little better. It's really hard to explain Mad Jack while you're doing it. So right here, you notice how he went down instead of right? So his preferred pathing is probably along that axis. Oh, shouldn't have done that, my bad. Switches back here again. This will be a better show. Watch where he goes, because he's in the center here, right? He's moving left, so he's choosing to move left and right here first before moving up or down. That's what I'm trying to show by saying preferred pathing. So if we keep the camera roughly as it was before, he'll continue moving left-right before he goes up or down. So he should move all the way across, a California lane change if you will, before he goes down to meet me where I was. I hope that that saying, California lane change, actually means something to somebody and isn't just a, we say that in Canada and it means absolutely nothing to people in California or anywhere else. I think it would be really funny if that were the case, but anyways. We know he's moving left and right, so we can keep him moving left and right since he doubles back on his pathing in Phase 4 and 5. That's why the preferred path is really important to know here. We can just, we can take advantage of it. However, now that I fell, I can go and show this. We don't know which way he's going now, right? Okay, like this. So now he'll go left and right before he'll go up and down. And he'll always try and get as close as he can to you by following that preferred path first before he goes the other direction. So he's on blue. Anyways, that's enough messing around. I should probably just beat Mad Jack now. I hope that you understand what I'm trying to say. If you don't, please just tell me. You can say, like, your explanation is garbage! And I'll be like, yeah, okay, that's fine, I understand. And if that's the case, I will try and find another way to explain it. Might be like slideshow or something. I don't know. But anyways. Yeah, as long as you take advantage of his preferred pathing, you really shouldn't have too much trouble here. He's on white? Yeah. It's just 5 phases. I know the fight seems really long, but like, it's not so bad when you learn how to do it properly. After you beat him, just grab the key. Then you pause, exit. That's all we have to do. We're not here for anything else. We're going to stay as Tiny and just leave factory lobby. You're going to go around this way, roughly to where the Kremling is, and then crouch slide off. And then you monkey port up, because we bought monkey port earlier. You're going to kind of want the camera like this, like put Tiny in this corner, and then camera behind you. Backflip up. Now, this is going to be tough. I do not expect you to get this on your first try. I will try and explain this as well, as best as I can. What you need to do is kick slide, jump, ponytail twirl, And then when you get to the slope that we're going to reach, you need to kick slide again. Kick slides with Tiny will allow her to go up most slopes in the game, especially if you chain them. So, that's what we're going to try. Kick slide, jump, ponytail, twirl, reach there, kick slide again. When you slide off, yeah. So like, I don't know how else to explain it super quickly. When you get there, you want to crouch kick slide again immediately. It will be tough to gauge if you try and react. So try and input it a little bit sooner than you think you would need to, only because the input delay on NSO is not great. Kick slide up. You can ponytail twirl out of the end of your kick slide and then try and kick slide again, and that'll get you up here. However, if you don't do that, like I'll continue to show this for a little bit, just because I do think this trick is kind of difficult on NSO, especially for a beginner at least. Okay, there, what happened was I was grinding on the wall and I lost all my speed because of it. Kick slide. So let's say you get the slide off ponytail twirl and you only can mash B. That's fine. Just mash, jump. Ugh, man. It's so hard to explain and do all of this at the same time because this is so sped up compared to what I'm normally used to. Yeah, that's very fast. Maybe I won't recommend that then. That's very, very quick. On N64, it's very reasonable to do. On NSO, it does not seem to be. So just try and go for the kick slide. If you slide off, do ponytail twirl, mash B, you should get up here every time. But like, this is definitely a trick that you're gonna have to practice. Okay, no kick slide that time, that's not great. You can kind of save it just by doing mash B with Tiny, but it's not great, as you can see here. Like, you can save it. It is possible, as you just saw, but it's so not ideal. If you can get the kick slide, that is ideal. Go for the kick slide. Ponytail, kick slide, slide off is fine, mash B, you'll get up here. So, moving on from that, you're going to move into this corner. This is the corner of the eye here. Whoop! I did want to show that, but not like that. Hang on, let me just go back up there. If you if you walk up too close here, it's really hard to see, but like this dark red part, you will get yourself into a slide, as you just saw. I was trying to stop before that, but I couldn't. And if you start sliding, you will just slide all the way off of here, because this counts as a semi-slippery slope. And so, if you are sliding, you will find the slope to be slippery. If you are not sliding, the slope will not be slippery. Hopefully that makes sense. Anyways, just try and stay like in this corner. Get as close as you can to the corner and just jump. You don't want to like spam jump, but jump until you go through, and then you want to land in that loading zone that I just hit. I'm going to use the rewind here just so that I can show this again. Right? Just tap, 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 tap. You just want to tap, you don't want to mash. If you mash, you will very likely fail this. Though it would be nice if Tiny went through the wall. Dude. Why is this so difficult? Okay, once you go through, you ponytail twirl, and you try to navigate over to the loading zone. I know that that's really difficult to figure out. I'm trying to get a better angle where I can show it. Okay, you're gonna have to work with me here. You see how the stairs in the background are like going down to the right? Like they're highest on the left, and then as you move to the right, they go further and further down. That's how you know the right side here is where you want to be. Um, Helm Lobby is closest to the down part of the stairs. So you want to try and ponytail twirl over to it there. This is awful. I wish I had a better way of showing this. Come on, Tiny. Get through the wall. I actually didn't think that this would be this hard to clip through this wall here. Like, as you can see, like, it's working out every time because the camera isn't flipping. But I keep going back here because I'm waiting for a camera flip. There are notorious camera flips that happen here that make this very difficult to do. And that's kind of what I'm hoping for, but I haven't gotten one yet. There we go. There we go. You see how the camera flipped there? It was fine, and then because I ponytailed too late, the camera flipped over and is now viewing Tiny from the front as opposed to the back. Again, the stairs are sloped down to the left here, so we know we need to go left towards Helm Lobby. You can also see a little bit of the Helm Lobby tunnel, if you will, over to the bottom left of the screen. You want to ponytail twirl into that. All I can suggest is using the suspend menu to go and practice that, or like a save state or whatever. It's going to be hard to go and practice that properly without it. Anyways, now that you're in Helm Lobby, move over to the right, go over past this Warp 1, you're going to walk Tiny into this corner here. Once Tiny is in this corner, let go of the control stick. Do not touch the control stick. Crouch, backflip, and you'll see that she goes partially out of bounds, right? Like her model looks like it's going out, but she isn't actually clipping out of bounds yet. So what you're going to do is backflip, and at the peak of your backflip, hold towards the wall, and that'll take you out of bounds. Like that. Once you're out of bounds, to put the camera behind you, you can tap down left to make Tiny turn. You press R and you press C up, and that'll move the camera behind you here. Just stay not a lot of distance away from the lava, but like a healthy distance. One Kong distance, if you will. And you can just walk along the edge of it to reach the back of the Helm Lobby tunnel here. That's how you skip the Helm Lobby B-Locker. In Helm, we need to do a slope climb here, so you're going to do that. I'll do this a couple times. All this is kick slide, jump out of it. Kick slide, jump out, kick slide, jump out. And like this isn't too hard of a trick. It's weird to get the rhythm of when you first try it. To prove my point there, or I guess as something that happened to me, in my very first time streaming DK64, I actually timed out in Helm trying to do this slope climb because I was playing through Amarek, which is a capture program, right? Which added a lot of extra delay that I wasn't accounting for after only playing on console to TV, or to CRT. Rude. So yeah, like, it can happen. Take your time, get practiced up on this slope climb. But like, once you get it, it's really not so bad. The second slope doesn't matter, it's not that slippery, unless you walk on the very sides. Once you walk on the side, you'll slide down. So don't do that, just stay like a little bit away from the side. Right? Even like up here is kind of slippery too. But just, you know, middle, a bit of way from the middle is fine, but yeah, don't go too close to the wall. We're going to go over here to this tag barrel, tag Chunky, pull out his gun, because guess what? He has gun too from Funky Weapons Glitch. and then swing across these vines. You can long jump off of that. We're going to walk Chunky into this corner right here with the spider web and the terminal. You're going to see that Chunky is shaking back and forth. You want to slowly turn upright until Chunky stops shaking. See that? Oh, also, when you're doing this, hold R. Okay? Hold R the whole time and slowly turn Chunky towards upright. Once he stops shaking like that, you can stop moving, go into first person, tap left. You don't really have to go a specific amount here, just slightly tap left. Leave first person, jump aerial, and he should pull himself up on the terminal. Oh, okay. What's going on, Chunky? Like that. I don't know why the first couple weren't working. I think I must have been out of position. I think when Oh! I see what's happening. So on N64 controller, I can just let go of the control stick and the snapback properly goes back to neutral. I was letting go of the control stick on my Switch 2 Pro controller, and the snapback was causing Chunky to walk away from the wall a little bit. That's what did it. Anyways, I guess you can just like continue holding up into the wall once Chunky stops shaking, and go first person from that, then tap left. I say as it also doesn't work. If you're too far to the left, Chunky will not pull himself out of bounds, and if you're too far right, Chunky will just immediately drop off the terminal like you see there. But yeah, you'll get a feel for this. Yeah, Look, I don't want to be complaining about a controller, because I think that that's John's. Excuses, in other words. I don't like that, but I do actually feel like this controller is doing this right now to me. I never have trouble with this on N64, and I think it is the stick snapback that's got me a little bit flustered here. But obviously, it does work, right? The setup does work. So just follow the setup, you'll get it. We're going to walk along the wall until we get to the corner, then turn, walk along that wall till we get to the corner, and then you want to line up with the edge of this wall. You want to walk perpendicular so that you do not fall inbounds. And if you don't have a notched controller, good luck. We're just holding forward. You can long jump here. You'll notice that you'll be beneath this hallway, which is attached to Tiny's room. This is good. This is exactly where we want to be. You do not need to look at Tiny's room. I only did that so that I can show you what's going on. Just keep going past this hallway, and then when Chunky goes dark again, go into first person so that you can load the DK room area. This is a little dangerous, so be very careful here. Just walk along outside of DK's room. Do not go too close to it. I know that it's going to be hard to gauge, but just do your best. When the camera becomes unlocked and you gain control of it again, you can go into first person to put it behind Chunky again. And you see that radar in the top left? We're going to turn Chunky so that the radar is basically at the edge of our screen. Something like that. It doesn't have to be exact, I'm just using it as a reference point here. And from here, we're going to go forward again. Now, in this spot, it is better to go too far to the right than it is to go too far to the left. If you go too far to the left, you can fall inbounds in the Blastomatic room. So go too far to the right if you have to go too far of either direction. Otherwise, we're just kind of holding forward until we load the next area, which should be this tunnel here, behind the K. Rool door that's attached to the Blastomatic room. Okay? Now, here, we're going to just backflip inbounds. It has to be on the lower portion. You'll get used to the lineup, even though you can't see Chunky. Follow the stairs up. Tag warp 1 just in case. Now, you do not need to tag warp 1, but in the event that you have to come back here, tag warp 1. You will thank yourself later. Come over here to this terminal, and we're going to do a kind of a ledge clip. This one's pretty easy, I say, in comparison to the other ledge clips we've done. You just want to move Chunky so that his center goes between the floor on the left and the terminal on the right. And then you can hold forward / slightly against the terminal and walk out of bounds. Walk forward and then turn to the right, and you should load the hallway area here. Just follow the hallway and go straight. You'll load this next area, and you'll see that's where the key is. We're going to continue on to the key room. And backflip in bounds. Now, do not grab the key immediately. You need to look at the window. Not like, it doesn't have to be first person, but make sure you turn the camera to look at the window while you collect the key. If you do not do that, there is a chance that you will get what we call fake key. You should not be getting fake key anymore because we know what causes it. So yeah, just look at the window. As long as you look at the window, you will get the real key 8. When Chunky picks up the key, he'll do the donk, donk, Donkey Kong jingle, right? And he'll do the dance along with it. On the second donk, you can go to reset game. Make sure you wait until the second donk. So donk, donk, and then you open the suspend menu, reset game. That'll save the key to your inventory properly. And we're just about done here. This might be under 2 hours. Hold A, mash start to get through the opening screens. We do not need story skip this time, because there's no other areas we're entering, so story skip doesn't actually help us here. Just go to adventure, re-enter your file. And then take warp 1 as DK. We tagged this warp 1 earlier, because we knew we were going to need to go back to K Lumsey at some point. Key 8 should turn in first. If you do not see Key 8 turn in first, that means you got fake key and you have to go back to Helm and get it again. If Key 8 turns in first, though, you're good. You have it for real. After keys 8 and 3 turn in, you can leave K Lumsey, take warp 1, and then take warp 3. This is another reason that we tagged warp 3 earlier. And then K Rules Arena should be right here. Just enter. Okay, this boss is a long one. I hope you're ready. If you need to practice any phase in particular, I would suggest making a save state at the start of that phase during the cutscene. That way you can go and practice it over and over again until you feel comfortable with it. In the interest of time, because this fight is already super long, I'm going to go through each phase once, probably. I might rewind here and there just to show off some different things, but generally I'm going to go through each phase once. As well as talk about any tips that I can think of. And, oh, and then I need to make sure that I put some information in the description later. It'll be things like the toe positions and all that other stuff for Tiny Phase. So, DK phase here, very simple. This being NSO or Wii U VC, you really don't have to do much. Just climb the pole until you're at the top. You can avoid shockwaves like this. It's fine to keep the camera locked. On the third shockwave, when it touches the pole, hold up to climb into the barrel, and as soon as the cutscene ends, you can fire to shoot K. Rool in the face. And we're just going to go around to the left. This is 5, 4, 5. After 5 punches, he goes and does the, oh yeah, look at me animation. This is 3, 1, 2, 3. And the last one is 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And that's it. Nothing really too much to DK phase, it's super simple. Diddy phase is going to be a lot harder. It is one of the fastest, but it's difficult to pull off properly. Okay, so after he does that initial, yeah, come on, or whatever he says there, you want to long jump into him and take damage. I know that sounds insane, but trust me on this. So, long jump, and then you want to stand on this, the smaller eye, the non-bloodshot eye, and you want to backflip when the glove flies back to him. And that'll land you in the rocket barrel there. Okay? Now, as part of the rocket barrel part of this fight, this is the hard part, go figure. This is also the main part of the fight. The biggest tip I can give you here is use the Z button, or the Z button. That will help you hover in place at your current height, and that'll help you line up on the targets a little better. You can also, see if I can show it on a different light, you can kind of line up close to the light to where Diddy's guns poke a little bit through, so you can shoot the target on the other side and then turn and shoot the one on the close side, like I just did there. But yeah, try and get close-ish, and then hold Z, or Z, to hover in spot, and then just focus on aiming. That's the best advice I can give here. If you don't get it right away, don't worry about it. This is not an easy phase. A lot of people have trouble with this one. I know I did. You do get used to it after a while, but like once you get used to the Z or Z hovering, it's way better. It's so much better. Lanky phase is annoying, but it's not too hard. I'll teach you the easy strat. Assuming I still know it, that is. Yeah, I haven't done the easy strat in a long time. You're going to punch the switch, and then throw that upright. Wait until he runs past the corner, and make sure you're on the right side of the trombone pad. Play trombone. You might get hit here, that's okay. As long as he's taking damage, that's the most important thing. Okay, so you can throw these basically onto the pad, and you'll be protected by the banana peel, and he should slip on them every time. There are ways to speed this up, and you will take damage doing this, but as far as beating the phase goes, it's pretty important to just do that. So this one, we can just wait until he runs away, and then play. Because we are further to the right of his center than to the left of his center, he'll turn around to the right and slip on that banana. Okay, so this is something I intentionally wanted to show off. That is the worst banana position possible, right? You see how he walks up there? You have to time this one really well. Basically, his foot needs to just barely clip the banana, and it did there, which is good. So, let me go a little bit back here. I don't know how far back I can go. This is the second peel, I think. Yeah, this is the second peel. Okay, this is fine. So for the first two, we throw them to the right. And then for the third peel, we throw it back to the pad that we were just at. This is because the switch, or the pad to the right actually disappears after we complete, I think it's the second peel. But this one stays. That's why we do that. Now, the final banana, if you don't get hit, you want to throw it in the center, roughly. And then you just wait for him to line up well enough with it, and then you play. So whatever you do, it's fine. Just try and throw it on the pads or in the center. You do not want it to be on the sides. Those are the hardest for him to hit, because you have to time those extremely well as get lucky with his movement. But yeah, not a whole lot else to say about Lanky Phase there. I also, like, I know that we are an hour and 45 minutes into this recording at this point, but, like, I really hope that what I'm saying is actually helpful, and I'm not just, like, you know, saying worthless things that are not useful at all. Because it's been a long time for me since I've been a beginner. I've run this game since 2014, so, like, end of 2014. So it's like 11 and a half years now for me. I'm trying desperately to remember everything that possibly could have helped me as a beginner, but I'm sure that I'm going to miss things. So if you have trouble with anything, please just let me know. I will try and help to the best of my ability. Tiny phase. Just climb up here. That's it. That's it. He's going to do 2 slams, do the youch, and then he'll do his bragging pose thing, and then he'll do 2 more slams. During that second slam, or the second slam in the second set of slams, jump off and go towards the center. A mini monkey barrel will spawn. Now here, we're going to stand in front of toes 2. 1, 2, 2, 1, and then we're going to shoot the toe. The first toe, that is. These toe patterns will be in the description. They will be the same every time as long as you don't get hit. If you do get hit while doing the toe patterns, they may change on you randomly, and I cannot help you there. So just practice not getting hit. I know that sounds really stupid, but, you know. 2, 2, 1. Right? And then you go back to the second toe. Now it's 2, 3, 3, 2, 2. And then you just shoot the toe again. Climb up, and you just wait again. Now, on Nintendo 64, you absolutely cannot do this. This would be so laggy, you would lose so much time, but this is NSO, where there's barely any lag from watching him run around and do the shockwaves, so this is fine. Okay, this one's different. 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, shoot the third toe. And then you go back to 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, and then you shoot the third toe, and then you go back to 4, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, shoot the third toe. I know this may look a little complicated and you don't want to remember all the patterns, but it's important to know that there's only actually 2 different toe patterns here. We're just moving differently, slightly, to avoid them. That's it. Oh, get in the barrel. Two, 3, 4, 3, 4, shoot the fourth toe, back to 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, shoot the fourth toe, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, shoot the 4th toe, and then back to 2, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, shoot the 4th toe. Again, there's not a whole lot more to say than exactly what you saw there. I will go and put the toe positions in the description of this video as long as I remember, and just make sure that you have those written down somewhere. It's really, really handy to have them. At least while you're learning. Eventually you memorize them, if you play the game long enough. Now, chunky phase. I am going to unlock the camera here just because I'm used to it. Do not feel afraid to keep the camera locked. We're going to wait for him to pass through, and then slam the switch. I'm going to go up to green. You do not have to go up to green, but I'm going to go up to green. And then go back to center, backflip into the barrel. Now this one, he's going to pass center, and once he's past center, you do the punch. So like once he passes the eyes on the K rule on the mat, that's what your visual cue is. Back to center, slam the switch. We're going to go red every time now. Okay, this one is before he gets to the eyes. And back to center. And we're going to go back to red again. And then back to center. And then into the barrel. This one is as soon as he moves. You just watch the shadow there. As soon as the shadow begins moving, let loose the punch. And finally, this one we do not immediately go back to red. We slam, he passes in front of us. Then you go to red. Okay, he's going to swing back and forth on this one. He'll go right, left, right, and then as he crosses center, here, you charge punch. And that's it. That's everything there is to know, that I can think of at least at this very moment, about the any percent route on NSO. Now, I don't expect you to remember this. I don't expect you to remember any of this, actually. So I have written everything out in a Google document. I will be putting the link to that Google Doc in the description below the video as well. It'll have all the reminders for what you need to do, but it will not really tell you how to do everything. I'm expecting you to remember the execution part of this. So things like how to do beaver skew, how to do bush push, things like that, right? I'm not going to write written instructions on how to perform those in the route doc. But I will have things like beaver skew or bush push in there, if that makes any sense at all. Yeah, can I think of anything else? Actually, yeah, you know what? Now's a good time to go and say that I would not be here without CFox's original beginner and intermediate DK64 any percent tutorials. Those are what I started learning on. And then along with that, I also had help from people like Isotarge and Znernicus and Ringrush, and I'm sure there are others, and I'm sorry that the names are escaping me right now, but I know that I learned from those people specifically, and I wouldn't be here without them. So thank you very much to all of you guys. And also because of them, I'm able to go and make an updated tutorial for NSO. So trying to pay it forward, and I hope that this helps in some way, shape, or form. I really think it was okay. I can't... The only thing that I'm really perturbed about is forgetting to show off buying Diddy's guitar for opening the stone door, but also you shouldn't be doing that. But I should still have shown it off, so I'm a little upset about that. But, like, as far as being completely unscripted goes, I think I showed off everything I wanted to. I even got Dark Room, not on purpose. I am not coping anywhere near hard enough to say no. That was on purpose. It definitely was not on purpose. That was an accident. But yeah, like Darkroom is bad. Don't Darkroom. What else do I want to ramble about here? Oh, please show the credits. Whenever you complete a run, please show the credits. You don't have to. It's not a mandatory requirement unless you're doing 101, in which case you do have to show the 101 cutscene at the end. But like, in my opinion, it is extremely cathartic to see the credits play out at the end of the run. Even if the run didn't go well, just watch the credits, just take it in, deep breath, relax. I think that it's very important. You may be in disagreement with that, and that is okay. You do not have to agree with me on anything or everything. I should have said that in the other order. You don't have to agree with me on everything or anything. That makes more sense. But yeah, I just think that it's good to go and take a break, look back, reflect on the run. It's okay to be mad if something doesn't go well, if you didn't perform something well, or if RNG just got your goose. I think that it is perfectly fine to be mad about that. But try and reflect on it in stride. That's the only way that you're going to improve. At least in my opinion. You could just throw yourself at the run over and over again and be like screaming every time. I know that there's some people out there like that. I don't know if I would suggest that. You could do it if you really want to, but like, don't be too hard on yourself. You'll learn. It'll take time. There'll be points at at this point I am rambling, speaking to the people that are looking at this as a first speedrun. So please take this with a grain of salt. There are times where you are going to jump leaps and bounds all at once, and then all of a sudden you will get stuck, and you'll just be like, I was doing so good before. What was happening? Like, why can't I do this now? I'm not improving. I hate this game. Blah, blah, blah. And I think that those are all valid feelings too. But I need you to understand that that is all part of the learning process. You will plateau at some point. You can't possibly keep learning at the same rate the entire time. That's not viable at all. Because there isn't always that same amount to learn all the time. I mean, like, there is, but as far as you need be concerned, especially in a run like this, you're going to learn the majority of the stuff up front, right? And you're going to feel good about learning all that stuff, and then you're going to get stuck on execution or RNG or, like, the stupid factory B-locker. It will happen. You don't have a choice. That's part of the game, unfortunately. But yeah, just take it easy. Try and learn, try and reflect. It's about the best out-of-game advice that I can give you. Was there anything else to say? Because this is near the end of the credits here. If you need help, I'm in the DK64 speedrunning server. At least for now. Who knows if I'll still be there when you check? Ooh! If not, I will also link my Discord server in the description. And just ask for help wherever you want to, and whenever you need it. And that's good enough for me. Anyway, this has been basically 2 hours, so I am done here. I hope this has helped, and if it hasn't, I'm really sorry that I took 2 hours of your life and I didn't help you at all. But please let this have helped. I really hope it did. Anyways, later. Have yourself a good day. Or night or evening or whatever it is, wherever you are. See ya.